stopping by shortly. I apologize for having such a late episode this week, but I have a very special and dear guest that's coming on the podcast today, and that guest just happens to be my eldest son, Morgan Wilson. Morgan, thank you very much for coming on. For people out there that are aware of our family, Morgan's here against his. Wait, his mother made him come on. So
that's not true. That's not true. He's dramatizing it.
I'm dramatizing it. But anyways, the reason why I wanted Morgan to come on and so I could talk to him. Obviously, I know most of most of his BMX experiences because I kind of made him do it. We'll talk about that a little later on. But he has myself as an influence, my brother as an influence. So we've had BMX in our family for forever, ever since the kids were born, obviously, right?
About years.
So I'm sorry, what was that?
There's 50 years of BMX in our family.
50 years. There you go, man. So I appreciate you coming on, buddy. And I'll make this as short and sweet. But like I know most of the stuff, I think. But Morgan has promised to tell me some of the stories that I'm not aware of that may have occurred in junior high and high school in regards to his BMX capades in Temecula, California. And for those of you who don't know, we used to live in Temecula, California. We moved there from the Pasadena area of California. And I didn't even know when we moved to Temecula that it was such a hotbed for motocross and for BMX in particular, right? I mean,
yeah.
Was it a surprise to you when we moved to Temecula and Twitch was at 7-Eleven and all these famous all these famous motocross guys, and also the BMX culture in Temecula? Was that a surprise for you? It was a surprise for me.
It was surprising for me because when you come from LA, which is it's like the home of everything street, right? So you go with street skating, which at the time when we lived in Pasadena, I was into skating. I wasn't so much into bikes other than like racing. But like the freestyle stuff wouldn't have started, at least without the initial interest in skateboarding derived from LA, because LA is like the hub for that.
Yeah
totally. But it was very interesting to I wouldn't have expected Temecula to be the hub that it is, but it's also grew to that as well. It wasn't as popular then as it is now.
You think so? Okay, that's an interesting point because, well, I guess you're right, because all the famous dudes that came out of Temecula was Brian's brother, right? And then there was who else was? I mean, okay, so who else were the famous guys out of Temecula? New school.
Well, there's a decent amount. There's some of you guys might not know, but there's a local legend out here. His name's Garrett Nilsson. He used to write for Colt. Coalition, and then what was it? Freedom. There's him. There's what's his name? Joe. Oh, I'm spacing on his name. But there's another local legend out here. He's actually in Deadline. I forgot his name. Is Joe something, but he's a local legend out here too.
Yeah, and it was the BMX culture in Temecula was crazy popular, and so I think that I may have had a premonition that I wasn't aware of when I picked Temecula off the map and said, let's move to Temecula, and that started your BMX capades down there with your brother. So what's your earliest, I mean, what do you remember about Temecula when you moved to Temecula? What's your earliest BMX memories, BMX things that you think about back in the day, the guys you rode with, the kids that you knew, the kids that made it, the kids that didn't make it? What do you remember about when we first moved to Temecula?
So when we first moved down here, I would say that we were into bikes. We were into bikes, but first off, we started like skating here, and then I shattered my ankle skateboarding, and after that healed, I went to go try to skate again, but then my ankle just felt like jello. So I stopped to call it. So at the time, my friend Rylan was like, "Yo, skateboarding's like stupid now. Like, like ride your bike." And so I was like, "Yeah, I have a bike." And I went home and I grabbed my 65-pound racing bike from like
Well, it
2000.
wasn't even. It wasn't a racy bike, right? It was
It was a
the
racing bike.
the it was a Felt 18.5, right? It was a like a park bike, right?
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah. It wasn't a
no.
racing
It
bike, no.
definitely it had to be a racing bike. There's no way. There's no way that a park rider would ride a a frame or a bike that heavy because that was.
It had a gyro on it, dude. It wasn't a race bike, right? It had a gyro on it.
Oh, I have no idea.
Anyways, you had your 18.5. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. I remember that. Okay,
and
so then what? So go. I'm sorry, I interrupt you. Go ahead.
okay. So from then it was like from then it was just riding every single day. Like there was no like, oh, I rode bikes for like another 5 months and then I went back to skateboarding. It was just straight bikes after that. Every day before school, every day after school, it was bikes all day and night. They're called and what also is the earliest memory is riding Paba jumps because Paba jumps are kind of legendary to the kids out here who are in like Morgan Hill slash, like over by Great Oak High School area. Like that place, they're kind of like training jumps. They're kind of like training jumps. And um, actually, I met one of my best friends at the time. I met my friend Andre Marvin there, and he taught me he taught me how to 180 on this 65-pound bike. And I'm like maybe 70 pounds or something. I don't know at the time. So it's like called. So I learned how to do a couple tricks here and there, and then that's when we all like you wanted to also like look around the city to see what there was, and I think we went to Walls a couple times just to like like break it in, and then at some point somebody brought up about the skate park, the Temecula skate park, because at the time there was no bikes allowed in there, and there was already a small scene going on because at the time that's when there would always be a hole in the back fence. So it would either be a really really tiny hole that you could barely fit your bike in and yourself, or it was the side, or you had two full panels of the gate gone.
How? Okay. How? There just didn't happen to be a hole in the fence. How'd the hole in the fence get there, dude?
The older kids, like like you're probably thinking like Mikey Babel or anybody on there,
Okay, so
and that was exactly them.
you had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with it. At least at that point. Now later on, we always had bolt cutters or something like that to get us in there.
Okay, let me stop you right now, just for the people that are going to be watching this. I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression of me as a father. I did watch my kids, but as all kids are accustomed to doing, they don't listen to their parents. So anything going forward from this particular point, I'm pretty sure that the statute of limitations has run, and I'm some of this I will be hearing for the first time. I do know a couple things that they've told Morgan's told me in the past couple of years that happened when he was in high school, junior high school. So that being said, go back to the hole in the fence of the skate park. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like like that was the place to enter. So you come by from like the side, come into the back, going on there, and the skate park escapades didn't start until late middle school, early high school. That was one of the best. That was one of the best eras that there ever was. Because at one point we were the crew, like the crew out here. Like and I think the coolest part about that is that I mean I'm not really the best at riding bikes. I was decent when I was riding, but like I pulled together like the whole the call called the whole crew that we were the call that we were doing. I brought all of us together for that, for during the Savage Days.
Yeah. So you there were a couple of guys that got factory rides, right? That you rode with. Who were those guys? I forgot all their names.
Well, there's the legendary Justin Spreet, who was like already sponsored by the time that he was walking, pretty much. But like there's Travis Hughes. I
Travis
was
Hughes.
there.
Okay.
I was there when Travis was I was with him the day that his like sponsor me tape came out, and yeah, so Travis got sponsored very fast because I remember he's a year younger. He's about a year younger than me, and I think at the time he was like maybe 15 or 16 is when he got on Kink, and then he got on Odyssey because I don't know if you know, but his do you know who Jacob Cable is?
I've heard the name.
That's actually his cousin. So
Was he a motocross? Is Jacob Cable a motocrosser?
no, he rides no street.
You were okay. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
he does those crazy nose manuals, like the
Okay.
crazy ones. But yeah, they're called yeah.
Is he
So
does he still ride for Kink?
who, Travis?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Does he still ride?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Cool.
At least to my knowledge, I don't believe he did. I think injuries got the best of him. Because that's the thing that like at least like all all the homies like go with, at least now, because like we're older. It's like, man, these guys are hurt half the time. But yeah, but like okay, so I would say after like middle school, or like right in the midst of middle school, is when I was getting like crazy crate, or that's when I was like getting really into it, and then that's when I feel like all the trouble started, because that's when like we'd go around, we'd go around town kind of creating havoc. I can't really remember much of middle school other than like riding what we can, like dirt jumps. Like I learned how to ride dirt jumps, which is a lot harder than one would think when they're first starting.
Yeah.
Because
One second, dude.
yeah,
Jose Chavez wants to. What is a good starter BMX bike? He's 26 years old and looking to get back into it. I guess, Jose, are you looking to race or just ride around a park or ride around jumps, or what kind of BMX are you going to do, Jose? And we can ride. If for a 26-year-old, what kind of bike do they still make 22s these days, or there's a 22 fad over?
they do, but I feel like I wouldn't get a 22 unless you're like cruising, or you're not doing like tricks or anything.
Okay, or you're
Like
big.
if you're starting out to just like cruise and stuff, like yeah, get a 22, 24 inch. But if you're trying to do like tricks and stuff, I'd stick with like maybe a 20 inch. Maybe gets like, depending on how tall you are, you probably want to get the parts that match it. Like if you're shorter, get front load stem. If you're taller, get higher rise bars and a.
What brand would you suggest at this particular point?
I don't know much now, but what I would recommend is to call the Secret BMX shop, and then they can tell, and then Mr. Apple can let you know exactly what's good for you.
And how could someone get in touch with the Secret BMX shop? It's the
Um,
secret BMXshop.com, right?
yeah, the Secret BMXshop.com, or you can Google them. I think they're out here in Marietta. So yeah, they have a couple different shops actually. They have like their main, they have like their main BMX shop, and then they have like that ride shop.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just to let everybody know, the Secret BMX shop. This is not a commercial for them. The Secret BMX shop and myself have a long history from when I had my BMX shop. So, anyways, the Secret BMX shop is the premier BMX shop probably in all the whole state of California, if not of surrounding states. But
Yeah.
we have one question. How old are you? So I don't know if you're referring to myself. Oh man, I'm not on. Hold on. I didn't put myself on Do Not Disturb. Hold on. Okay, sorry.
It's
Uh, so they asked how old are you? I'm 56. I'm going to be 57 next month. And Morgan, how old are you? I don't even know.
I'm 26.
26. And when did you stop really throwing the bike around?
Mm,
How long ago?
I'd say maybe since is when I moved to Orange County ish. So maybe
That was a long time ago, man.
20. When I like 20 ish around there.
So okay, so this brings up another subject that I was talking to somebody else about. What what made you stop? What made you? Is it was it lack of stones anymore? You didn't want to get hurt. Was it a lack of time, other interests, or a combination of all of them? What really made what really said, yeah, I'm done with it. I've had enough of it. What's made you stop riding?
I would say at first it was like it slowly I slowly stopped because essentially okay. So after I graduated high school, I went to college to become an artist. And during the time that I was in like I was in high school and such, the creativity that I had, I put into bikes. So I got the same. I got just as stoked as doing a painting as I did when I landed like a truck driver. You know what I mean? So like the high of writing just transferred to art and clothing and everything into, which is crazy because I wouldn't necessarily started any brands unless or BMX helped me start my brands in order for me to get to where I'm at right now. So I have a lot to thank for BMX itself because I wouldn't be what I'm doing if it wasn't for the introduction in BMX.
Right. And
Yeah.
I can totally agree with that one. Let's take you back to Temecula, dude. You're in junior high, or high school, whatever, and you're going to the skate park. And now I know there's one story that I want you to tell,
There is,
but
but I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that for JP.
you're gonna save it for JP.
I'm gonna save it for JP. I'm gonna save it
Oh
for JP
man,
because JP. They're called. I feel. To be honest, honestly, I also might hop. I also call. What day did you guys decide to do your thing?
we haven't scheduled a date.
We
I
haven't
was gonna
discussed.
I no, I was gonna send him a text today, say, dude, do you want to come on tonight? But I didn't want to like rush him or nothing like that. I didn't want to.
Nah, it's
But
good.
anyways,
It's good to let homie
yeah.
think about it. He is a little shy.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right. We're talking about JP, a kid that Morgan grew up with, and he rides for Volume and Demolition, and he
Right,
throws
JP
it down.
Ross, JP Ross, Johnny Boy.
Yeah, John Phillip, right? I
Yeah,
saw one of his. Someone called him out in one of his like the welcome video for who do you ride for before? He rode for
he wrote for Merit.
Merritt. He was like it was like the welcome to Merritt, and someone called him John Philip Ross, and I was like, oh, okay, that's guess what that's what his name stands for. But anyways, okay, so we won't tell that story. This is a crazy story that I want Morgan to tell, but he won't tell it. I'll wait for JP to come on, probably on Sunday or Monday of this week. So, but
Yeah.
anyways, there are countless stories that you could share
Oh, 100%.
that you won't get
100.
in trouble for. So, what are some ones that I may not be aware of, or even if I'm aware of them, I have a bad memory. I'm an old man. Remind me of what the escapades that you got into.
Well, there's a bunch. I mean, like we would get the skate park would get raided. We get raided by the cops. Like 6, 7 cop cars at a time would come to the skate park, and we would all have to dip out through the back. They're called at some point they just left the gate like unlocked for us in the back. They just stopped bothering locking it. So there's been plenty of times to where you know cops would raid the skate park, and then we would have to dip out the back and go up the hill. The called the back hill. There's
Wait, did you guys ever get caught, arrested, cuffed, anything?
there was a couple kids that got arrested. So back during this time in like early high school, there was Temecula Skate Park is right across the street from Temecula Valley High School. And as you guys may know, schools have a designated cop that is always at the school. They're called so they would send that cop over to the skate park, and if you got caught in the skate park, they would confiscate your bike. So they would just like literally just impound your bike, and he would leave it in the front office, and you would either have to have your parents come in and pick it up, or sometime I think you just needed to have your parents come in, or they would hold it for a certain amount of days, which was dumb.
A school cop
Yeah,
confiscated a bike that's not even on school grounds.
100. Yeah, this happened multiple times, and the cop didn't have a good reputation either because homie shot himself in the foot like 4 times.
Wait, literally or
No, like
figuratively?
literally, he shot himself in the foot like 4 times in the school, like not even outside of the school, in the school. Yeah, he was kind of a joke. Like no one really took him seriously. But if you weren't getting kicked out by them, then we would be kicked out by the park rangers. They're called park rangers would come and at first they would be like real mean, right? And then certain ones left and then new ones came, and then we got to know all the park rangers. So the park rangers be like, hey man, I go on lunch in like 30 minutes. Like what I don't like what happens here after that 30 minutes, I don't know because I'm gone, I'm on my lunch. And they'd be like, what?
The park ranger was my customer when I
Yes,
had the bike
that's a
shop.
different story. That's a different story. That's different.
Dude,
That
the
was
guy,
Sergio.
he was one of my best customers at the bike shop,
Yeah.
and then he's telling me, yeah, dude, your kids are over at the skate park, cutting holes in the fence and leaving beer cans on the ground.
Yeah, they're called. We were on. We were at the skate park. They're called. I think in the later years, like late high school, maybe even after high school. Because I mean, just because I stopped riding after high school doesn't mean I wasn't at the skate park. Like I
Oh
think
yeah, I know, yeah,
I was
I
kicking
know.
out. We were kicking it at the skate park until like maybe I was what 23 ish, 23 ish. Yeah, around then. Maybe when I was 22. But we would kick it there in the skate park until like we get there at like maybe like depending on when the park closed. If the park closed at 8, then we would be there at 8, and then we would if they still had the lights on, we'd ride the park and then go. We call it parking lot pimping. We go parking lot pimp. Get have a couple tall boys.
I'm laughing at this, and I look like such a shitty parent right now, dude. Man.
No, man.
So
I mean, they're called look, man. I mean, it made my youth experience so much more fun to go against your back with everything that we did. Because
uh,
here's the thing, YouTube. Here's the thing is that I had a 7 o'clock curfew up until I was 18 years old. After once I turned 18, it was like midnight or something.
I don't
But
remember that, dude.
I had a 7 o'clock curfew, or I had to be home by dark. So what I would have to do is I would have to lie, like, "Oh, I'm spending the night at Marvin's house." I mean, I would spend the night at Marvin's house, but wasn't saying that I was gonna go to the skate park until midnight.
You know what? The story that you told me about when used to ride your bike to school every morning. You want to share that one? What you guys used to do? Ride your bike to school every day?
We'd ride bikes. They're called. We'd ride a
No.
bike.
What did you do? What did you do when you were on the way to school?
We do a bunch of things. We used to yell. They're called. Uh, we used to um, we used to be bombing down the hill, and there'd be someone like walking, like with their back facing towards us, and we would scream, and we would be
No,
called.
that's not the trash can, dude.
Oh! Every Monday was trash can. Every Monday was trash can day.
When I was his age, I was jumping the trash cans, and now he did different things with the trash cans. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what we would do is we would start at the top of the hill, and we would go down. And we'd have a competition to see who can kick down as many trash cans as possible, and then the person
Uh,
last would see how many of them they could jump. They call it how many of them they could jump over, because they're always put on the curb, so we would try to like jump over them off the
Oh,
curb.
I didn't see. I didn't know that part. You jumped the trash can, standing
Well,
up.
yeah, that's the call. That's the best part. That's the best part about riding. It's not like the best. I feel like most people think the best part about riding is like doing the tricks and all that stuff. Which yeah, it's pretty sick. But also too, like there's no better feeling than feeling the gravel underneath your tires on the way to the spot, like mobbing, and then coming up with tricks to do on the way to the spot. That was the call. That was one of the best parts.
Yeah.
I get nostalgic just mobbing down a hill with no brakes.
So I want to change it up a little bit, dude, because I know that you've met and yes, Billy, this is my son. This is my eldest son. He's what hell are you 26,
26, yes.
and I don't have any grandchildren yet, right, Morgan?
Right.
That you know about. Okay. Anyways, you've met a lot of famous. He's looking at his girlfriend right now. You've met a lot of in your writing escapades throughout your earlier your I don't know, I guess you're 18, 19, 20, or well actually even younger, back when we went to the Vans game of bike or
Yeah.
whatever. Dude, what are some of the, or even Interbike, dude? Tell me, you've met a lot of people, because I geek out at a lot of the BMX guys, stars that were riding when I was riding. Did you geek? You didn't seem to geek out, or you just seemed like it was like normal to meet all these guys, right?
I played things really cool. I played things really cool. Even like when it comes to like the Marietta crew, like the Thank You crew, right? Like I like to play things as cool as possible, so I didn't end up being that annoying kid at the skate park, because that's what you can do. You can become the annoying kid at the skate park very fast, and I didn't want to be that.
I'm the annoying adult on YouTube, dude.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. Like we had those kids too. We had the annoying kids end up being a part of our group just for just like sticking around so long. The
Yeah.
call that's a funny story. Okay, the call. Do you want me to go into that story? Because I'll go into
We'll start. Let's start chronological. So start like the game of bike, because I remember I was geeking out, and there was like, who was like, Catfish was there, was Rooftop there?
yes. Rooftop the
Yeah.
call, Rooftop was there. There was the call. There was at the time. Keep in mind, this is like 2011, 2012. So this is like the beginning of current BMX. Like current BMX started around 2010ish, because that's when Colt started. Colt started in 2010, and I believe that's around the same time we moved down here. So
We moved to 2008,
really
2009. Yeah,
okay,
beginning of 2009. But anyways,
okay.
I remember it was like Robbie Morales, Catfish,
Trey
Dennis Anderson,
Trey
Trey
Jones,
Jones, uh, and then and then we were at Interbike, and you met Mike, or that was Matt Hoffman.
Matt Hoffman,
Uh, who am I missing?
yeah,
Chad Curley, huh?
Bob Harrow,
Bob Harrell, yeah, yeah.
Bob Harrow. What else? I saw. Do you know? Okay, do you know who Shawn Burns is?
No,
Shawn Burns is a legendary, like he's one of those like metalhead, like BMXers. Like have you ever seen those metalhead skaters?
uh-uh.
They got the frizzy. They got the frizzy hair. They have like the leopard print vests. They spray painted jeans. Essentially, he's like a metalhead BMXer. I saw him at Interbike. I thought when I saw him at the Bone Death uh, section, I thought he was a wax figurine. Like homie looks crazy. Because they called me, like, all my respects to him, but like I swear he was a wax figurine.
Yeah, dude. Who and I wish I could remember the guy that was on Survivor that worked for DK, who was my sales rep, but I can't remember his name. But who else was at Interbike? Because, oh man,
There was a lot of
oh
people. I mean, there was a lot of people because also Interbike, like it called Interbike, was also there when there was also a big change in BMX too. Because around the time that there was, Interbike around that time, that's when Deadline came out. That was when that's when Stranger like completely rebranded, and then that itself birthed like this kind of other newer side of BMX as well. Because everybody, I mean, like Deadline,
That's when Garrett Reynolds started Fiend, right?
roughly, yeah. He started Fiend at around like maybe 2011, 2012. I remember
Does he still ride? Is he still riding?
Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I
Okay.
think I think the boys have filmed with him once or twice recently.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I don't know him personally, but they call all the boys know them.
you got to ride with Chad Curley down at OB, right?
Yeah, yeah. That Chad's not the friendliest person.
Really?
Yeah, you say what's up to him, and he'll just like doesn't really show you anything. Which I mean, at the same, I mean, like I understand. I understand to a degree, but these are the kids buying your parts. You know, these are the kids. They're called. They're buying your frame. They're buying your grips. They're buying your pedals. You know what I mean? They're watching your videos.
Yeah.
I mean, and especially a place like OB, because like Ocean Beach is like you say what's up to everybody. Like no matter if you know them or if you don't, like you always dap whoever it is up. You know what I mean?
Dude, I to this day, if I see a BMX video on YouTube and it has that damn green gate, I go, dude, OB, man, OB. There's thousands of videos from OB.
Yeah,
Everybody,
that's my favorite
everybody
part.
famous was down there, dude. Like, I can imagine, like, who else rode OB? It was Chad Curley, or was it? Did Devin Smiley go down there too?
Yeah, he's been down there a few times, but there's local legends down there. Like there was a home. I don't know if you remember, like there was this guy with the buzzed head who me and Marvin always hung out with. Do you remember that guy?
No, man.
No, there's a guy who had a buzzed head. Anyways, like I've known him just from riding there. I've known him for years. And when I moved down to San Diego, I went to the park and I saw him. I was like, dude, I live down here. And he goes, you live down here? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, you want to be like inducted into the park? Like you want to be a local? I was like, sure. Like, what do I gotta do? He goes, you gotta make friends with one of the skaters. Once you're friends with one of the skaters, you're friends with all of them. I was like, okay. So I made friends. So I made friends with the skaters, and we do like stupid stuff. Like I told one of the little homies that if he drank like a cap of vape juice, that I'd give him like $1. We would do that so much. Like we would just like have people eat or drink or whatever, like random stuff for like not a lot of money. I
Well,
made, I made one of our friends lick a piece of cheese off of the wall for anything off the dollar menu at McDonald's. We used to do that. We used to do that a lot. But yeah,
dude, we did the same shit in the Marine Corps, dude, where we used to make guys drink. You know what dip is? Chewing tobacco, Copenhagen.
yeah.
The guys that spit in the bottle, and we used to give guys like $20 to drink a bottle of dip juice, dude, or like something stupid, man, like crazy, man. But anyway, so who else was down there besides Chad Curley? Name drop, dude. I want to hear some names, dude.
I mean, like I mean, like there was always somebody here, somebody there. Not a lot that like I was able to ride with, but there's a local legend. His name's Mitch something. Is Mitch McCovell or something? I don't know, but he's like he is amazing at park. Like he's throwing like he's throwing like tables so click. None of his feet are even on the pedals.
Oh
Like,
wow,
like he's going crazy. Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
dude.
like you have like local, like like legends down here, right there. Like I think we've ridden a couple times down there with like Todd Spreed or something. Like there was always somebody that you knew that was there.
So what was okay? So what was your favorite? I mean, what was your first real bike? Your first real BMX bike, 14 two-sprocket bike, was the Felt, right? Or did you have something before that?
No, it was the Scotty Kramer. That was when I slashed my head.
No, that was
No.
a pyre, dude.
N- No. Okay, so the call. Here's how it happened because I remember it. So I was called so on my old race bike that we were talking about earlier. I was mobbing down our neighborhood, and I saw an overgrown branch, and I ducked, and it clipped my head and gave me giant gash in my head, and
Yeah,
it was against the HOA to have it over the drive or to have it over the public sidewalk, and so
yeah.
you guys sued them, and you
Well, we
guys
got we we got an insurance claim. Yeah.
yeah, with that money you guys bought me the pyre, and you bought me the Scotty Kramer frame. And so when I got the bike, I never used the pyre frame. They're called
Oh, okay.
essentially we used you bought me the Scotty Kramer, and then the pyre was I used all the stock parts for the pyre.
Not to change subject, but I was Facebook stalking JP the other day. Is that that he has a broken frame in one of his pictures in half? Is that the Scotty Kramer frame that I sold him? Do you
I'm
know if
not
he broke it in half?
I'm not sure. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he did. Actually, I don't know, man. I don't even know if you could break that frame in half. That thing's like that thing's heavy.
Okay.
But maybe I don't
Anyways,
know. I mean, I don't know. Like we've called to be honest, like if I've snapped a frame, that means they've snapped like 4 or 5 or 6. Because they ride a lot harder.
what was what was your favorite frame setup that you rode back in the day that you remember? Was it the if you had a
I,
fly, right? I mean, but you had a bunch of stuff before the fly.
the fly, I'm still running the fly. I still have the fly. They're called, but I'd say one of the fiend setups that I had. I would say and they called the first run of the embryo frames, the blood red, the ox blood red. That one was one of my favorite setups. That was one of my
Was it
favorite
a
setups.
free coaster or a free wheel?
Oh, well, same thing. But
No, it's not.
oh, you saying free will? You're talking they called your old school showing. Uh,
A free wheel, man.
yeah, they're called cassettes now, but we'll go with the
Okay,
free will.
a cassette. Did you have a cassette or did you have a free coaster?
I think I had a free coaster at the time. I had a free coaster, the Primo one, the by all means the best called the best free coaster that was ever made. The version 1 Primo free coaster, the best one.
What kind of cranks were? I mean, what kind of cranks did you have on it? Because I remember just like black. You didn't have like rant cranks on it or something stupid, right?
No, I had the
Demolition.
no, I had the felt ones. The
Oh, the
I had the
ballpark cranks, dude.
ballparks. Those honestly, like a lot of people slept on felt stuff because felt like their cranks. I love the feeling of their cranks. They were nice. They were sleek. They were nice. The handlebars were my favorite. Those are my favorite bars. I would always run them. If I broke them or bent them, then I would have to get another new pair like that same day because they were just like perfect. Bar spins on those feel amazing.
For those out there that don't know, I used to be a felt dealer when I owned my bike shop, and all of my kids rode felt bikes and parts and stuff like that until they were old enough to go to the secret, and then I never saw them again. The only kids I know that their father had a bike shop, but they wouldn't come to my bike shop. They go to a rival
Nah,
bike shop to get their parts.
that's not true.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I didn't have many. We told a story from we've done one previous video of when I used to take the kids to Interbike, and Morgan told a story about how the kids I used to send the kids on. I go, look, you guys. I gave them money. They used to go around and do all the different because Colt and Fit and all these other different companies were really popular in my area, in our area, but they wouldn't sell me parts because of the secret BMX shop was a big dealer, was like the biggest dealer in Southern California. So they wouldn't sell me the parts. So what I did was when we went to Interbike, I would give the kids cash and I'd say, dude, go around to Fit and S&M and all you guys and get all these parts. And I used to take it back to take it back to the bike shop and sell the parts. So,
That's
um,
that's not as bad as what we did to the Taiwanese distributors.
What you
Oh
do to
my
them?
gosh, we would oh man, we would milk every part and every dime out of them because we'd had the felt because at one point we had the felt badges. So all you had to do is go and be like, you want the contract? And those be like, yeah. I was like, well, you see like that sprocket and that stem, you know, if you give them for me for $10, for $10 for the both of them, I'll put in a good word. And he's like, yeah, okay, 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 okay. And then they would get the call. They would even throw in something extra, for free. Oh, we milked that as much as we could.
Oh wow. See,
The-
the things I learn about now, um, from back in the day. For those of you that I used to, I was the father of the year where I used to take my kids out of school every year for 3 days and take them to Interbike in Vegas and then leave them in so we would do Vegas during the day. Or do we do Interbike during the day and then I leave them by themselves in a hotel room and go get down and gamble and drink all night long until the next day? That I hope it didn't mess you guys up too bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm only an alcoholic 7 days out of the week. Just joking.
No one in our family is a real big drinker. I don't think.
Nah, not really. It was really hard to steal beer from you because there was none in the fridge.
There you go, dude. There you go. All right, man. So you liked the Fiend and that type of thing. Then you
Yeah,
went to the Fly, and you that's one that you still have, the Mustard Fly.
yeah. The Fly Isla frame. It's a little outdated because Shane Weston hasn't been on Fly for like God, like maybe like a decade now. But yeah, yeah.
Nice, dude. So when's the last? So the last time you touched your bike was it wasn't 5 years ago, was it? It was.
No, it was maybe like a year ago or so.
Do you remember what? Okay, so you mentioned that you were jumping trash cans off of a driveway and that type of thing. What was your? Because I remember I took you to the skate park in Monrovia, dude, and you truck drivered off of like a 15-foot ledge, dude. Like you were doing stuff like I never thought about doing, man. What was your big send it moment where you think this like, man, that was crazy. It took me a lot of guts and a lot of gumption to get up the balls to do it. Do you remember anything? Does anything come to mind that you did that I'm not
Yeah,
aware of?
they called the first trick that I think that was like the big trick that I did that was NBD. I don't know if you guys know what NBD is, but never been
Never
done.
been done.
Never
Okay.
been done. But I nollie cabbed the seven stair at TV, which the seven stair doesn't sound like so gnarly until like you look at like the Temecula Valley High School stair set. It's kind of like a legendary spot. You've had a lot of people ride that spot. David Grant, uh, um, oh, I forgot his name, Jebediah something, older rider. But yeah, like there's tons of people have done stuff off that ledge slash called stair set. I nollie cabbed it, and that was for the video that I was doing. That was for the Savage video. But
What's a nollie cab? I don't even know a
the,
null.
the call. So you know what a half cab is, right? You do a 180, and then you do another 180. You fakie, then you do another 180 out of it. So when you do a regular fakie, you're hopping off your back wheel, right? A nollie cab is where you're cabbing, but with your front wheel. So you're going off of the front wheel on
Okay,
there.
and then you did that off of a seven stair,
I did it off
not
of the
not to grind. You just off the
no,
stairs.
like from top to flat, which it doesn't seem scary, but like when you're going backwards down a 7, 8, they call it like 7 foot drop, it's fairly scary. And that one, I mean, I bit it like a decent amount of times beforehand, but it didn't really hurt. It was weird. It was like one of those it's one of those tricks to where you're falling, but like I don't know if it's your adrenaline or sometimes when you fall, honestly, it feels good. I don't know if it was like one of those or what, but I don't remember getting like super hurt off of that. Um, but that one was one of my best tricks that I've done
Well, okay.
in my eyes.
So I've never asked you this question before, dude. And what is your because growing up with your uncle and myself, what is your favorite story that was sitting around the Thanksgiving Day table? Do you and the cousins or your brother have a famous story that your uncle and I tell about our BMX capades back when we were growing up on main bikes?
Yes, when you guys when you guys got in trouble and Grammy locked your bikes to the garage door, you guys took off the garage door. Then you guys went like two cities over to race. I think you were racing what, like Whittier or something.
Yeah,
Uncle Brian put his teeth through his lip, and you had
yeah,
to go to the hospital. That one is one that I talk about a lot because I think that's crazy. That's definitely something that we would do.
yeah. So for everybody out there that's wondering, there's a story. When my brother and I were probably 16 and 17 or 15 and 17, something like that, my mother got pissed off at us because we were ditching school too much. So she thought she would get us back by locking our bikes in the garage. And what we did was we took the garage door off of the hinges, and this is in South Pasadena, California. We stole our own bikes back, and we went racing in Cole Canyon. And we went down to Cole Canyon for the first time, and we were doing practice laps. And my brother went over the bars on a step jump and knocked himself out and screwed up his face. So that's a story that my son's talking about. So that's your favorite one, huh? That's cool.
That's my favorite one. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, my favorite story is gonna be the one that you're not gonna tell. That you gotta wait for JP to tell. He's
Oh,
gonna tell your story, dude.
well, I mean, it's our story. We both equally as freaked out of what happened because that was. Well, the call what I can get into. Do you want me to talk about? I can talk about the Savage video.
Okay, is it good, or are you just gonna tell me about it took you 5 years to build to film the thing?
Well, I mean, I think it's fairly important because that's one of my biggest I would say accomplishments with at least what I left my mark within the industry or whatever. But like so to start it off, when I was what, like 16 or 17, I saw the or when I was like 14 or 15, Deadline came out. And I don't know if you guys know about Deadline, but Deadline was the video, the video, like the Baker 3 of BMX. They're called, and it was they're called. Honestly, I was so inspired by it that I asked my grandma for a Sony VX 2000. I wanted a 1000, but I got the 2000 for my birthday. And with that, when I got that, I looked at my friend Tyler and my friend Tyler Beach and Marvin, and I was like, "Yo, let's film a video." They called let's film a full length, and they call it full length video, and they're like, "Dude, that sounds sick." So Marvin kind of stopped writing around that time, so he was kind of snuffed out of being a part of like that, and then at that point it was just me and Tyler. So we were trying to find people to put in the video. So we went to this. We called. We're at the skate park one day, and the homie Hilario Olivos was there, and we asked him. We're like, "Yo, want to be part of our video?" And he goes, "Let me think about it." I was like, "Okay," and then
For those that are watching, this is a BMX street video that you're
yeah,
a compilation. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, and then we saw J, and then we hit up JP to go ride, or I think we happened to see JP at the skate park or something like that, and we were gonna go ride these curved ledges. It's kind of like a sea, and we were filming, and because we were filming like a guest clip for him, and then at some point I just asked him to be part of the video as well, and he said yes, like nothing. He just like, yes, I'm in. I was like,
Okay,
word.
so then all right, so what happened, man?
Well, I mean, like we spent
Three
years and
years of
years
filming this thing.
filming. We spent years and years filming, which created the best times that we have ever had. I took everybody out to LA to go stay with my other grandparents down there. We spent, I think, a week out there, and we got as much footage. We got all the footy. We got we got a bunch of, I don't know, really funny stories. I mean, like, we were out there, and like we had to take all of our jewelry off to go on. Like, we had to take all of our jewelry off to go on the buses and the trains. Couldn't look anybody in the eye, because like you get stabbed, or somebody can drop their crack rock or something like that and be freaked out that you saw it. I don't know.
It took
But
you so long. You guys went through puberty while making this damn video, dude.
the video's still going, man.
You still haven't finished it?
No, it's on tapes, bro. You know how hard it is. You know how hard it is
Oh my god,
get
man.
tapes like done. They're called My VX right now needs a head cleaning because of all the times that we tried to get the clips off that we weren't supposed to do it in that certain way.
Wow.
But yeah, but
All
like
right, man.
called the savage thing is important, I feel like is an important prerequisite for JP's interview. Because with JP's interview, I feel like a lot of the savage stuff is gonna come to light on there, because that was sick. I'm because over time, everybody had a crew, right? Like, there was there was the Myriad dudes who was doing called Thank You. Shout out Thank You. They're called
You're welcome.
they're called I was actually called Bo Stop by my work today, actually. But Bo Harmon started Thank You around the same time as I started Savage. So at the time, they were the Marietta crew, or they were the Thank You crew. I couldn't remember what it was, but we were the called. I had the Savage video Instagram, and I was posting daily, like four or five new posts a day, and we built a reputation for ourselves super fast, super fast. I remember going to the skate park one day, and one of the Marietta kids referred to us as the Savage Crew, and I was so stoked. I was so stoked because essentially all the work I put in, because essentially what I wanted to do is, I knew that I wasn't the best and I wasn't going to get sponsored, so I made it my absolute mission to get everybody else sponsored, or to at least pave a way for them, right? And so when they referred to us as the Savage Crew, I was so stoked, because I was like, yo, like, I'm actually, like, all my work is being recognized for what I'm doing. And so towards the end, I mean, like, we have a lot. I think I have like maybe 25 or 30 hour long tapes that are undeveloped. We have some good clips in there. Some
Yeah, crazy, dude.
gnarly clips.
So there's one kind of funny story about one of your customers that came in. You want to share that story? It's kind of funny.
What story is that?
That knew me or whatever. The BMX guy.
Johnny?
Yeah.
Johnny Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was at I work as a t-shirt printer. I have Not only do I have my own brand, but I work at a print shop, and it was during.
Don't put yourself down. You're a graphic artist that happens to work making T-shirts.
Yeah, I'm an artist first, but I do it's mixed with both. I do paintings, yet I also do like cut and sew, like called
Okay.
fashion type stuff. But
All right.
yeah, I was at work one day, and this guy was saying how he needs a shirt for this event that's going on, and the event was, what is it, Dirty Fest?
Yeah, it was Dirty Fest 1, I believe.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, like, you ride? And he's like, yeah, I've had some experiences. And I was like, okay. I was like, you familiar with main bikes in South Pasadena? And he goes, yeah, I've raced a couple guys from there. I was like, probably my dad.
This is Main Bikes right here.
Yeah, I was like, he was like, you probably raced against my dad. He's like, who's your dad? It's like Kevin Wilson. He's like,
I don't know who he is.
I was like, he's like, I think so, maybe not. And then, I immediately text my dad after I take his order. He rode for, what did he ride for? He rode for,
He's from San Diego, and he wrote for a couple different guys. And I can't remember the name of the T-shirt that you made for him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then I immediately texted my dad. I was like, you know what, Johnny Johnson, which his name is just sick in general. Johnny Johnson, like that. And
yeah. Johnny's your biggest fan, dude. He's like, dude, if you ever get a T-shirt made, Morgan has to make it, man. He's a stud making T-shirts. So if anybody out there needs T-shirts made, or a graphic designer, or a logo, or anything like that, you could reach out to Morgan.
Yeah.
If you want to comment on here, I'll get it to him. He does sick designs, logos, all kinds of good stuff. But yeah, he does T-shirts. So
yeah, I did all your designs. I did the BMX Hunters design, and I think I did when you're doing BMX Brokers, I also did that one as well.
Yeah, you still need to do another BMXPERTS for my for the channel now.
I'm working on that one right now.
All right, man. So with that, I mean, can you think of anything else that I missed, dude? With BMX wise, or we're boring everybody to death, I think.
No, I think we got most of it. I mean, there's probably something that you can pull out of. There's probably something, but I'll leave the SEAL Team 6 story to Johnny Boy.
The SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody for coming by. Once again, my name is Kevin Wilson. I'm the host of the BMXPERTS Podcast. I normally like to talk about old school BMX, sharing stories with my guests. This week just happened to be my eldest son, and we talked a little bit of new school. So if you're out there and you like old school or new school, maybe I might be doing a couple new school interviews coming up. Feel free to subscribe. It would be great. If not, I can't make you do it. But I want to thank everybody for coming by and watching our video so late at night tonight. Morgan, I appreciate it, buddy. Try to stay away from the cops. If the cops come by looking for you by the house, I don't know who you are.
Well, same goes to you. Cops coming.
And we'll save the stories about how bitchin' of a dad I am for next time.
Yes, sir.
All right, bud. Appreciate it, man. Love you. And thank you very much for coming by. And we'll talk to you again. And we'll see you next, I don't know, Sunday or Monday probably. Until then, the track is closed. Morgan, have a good night, man. Peace out.
You as well. Peace out.
Later.